pull through sharpeners. They are not very good. In fact, they are the most not very good out of all the over-the-counter methods of sharpening a knife. But that got me to thinking, is a pull-through sharpener a worse way to sharpen a knife than using a toilet?
The toilet? But that's where I put my poo-poo!
Hey, me too. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to sharpen this knife as best as I can on the pull-through sharpener. It's a carbide and ceramic pull-through, and then I'm going to sharpen this knife somehow on a toilet.
So I have watched loads of videos and read all the instructions about how to use these things, and each different person seems to have a different view on how to get a good edge. And I can only think that maybe that's because there is no way to get a good edge using one of these guys. I mean, you can get an edge back, but I'm talking about, I want my edge to slice a piece of paper. And maybe that's just not what these things are for. But I think I eventually got there in the end. I ended up using like a medium amount of pressure at first and then lightening it off. Kind of in my mind, I was honing it. And yeah, it eventually, as you could see, sliced the paper-ish. So swapping over to the cleanup side, the ceramic side, which should technically be some pretty fine ceramics that can't really go too far wrong. Probably not as bad for the edge as the carbides were. So yeah, just thought I was tidying up the edge here. But then when I went back to cut the paper, really didn't notice any improvement whatsoever. So I went back to square one again, did a bit more, and then just did a bit more, and did a bit more again, and it was just a pain in the arse.
I think that's as good as I'm going to get. Tell you what, this may not be the toilet, but I really feel like taking a shit on it.
I thought it might help by giving it a light strop. I thought maybe that would tidy up whatever edge it has left. And I ended up being, you know, like a little bit wrong on that, because when I revisited the cut...
I know.
It actually seemed to have made it worse, not better.
Fucking hell.
So a pull-through sharpener gets your edge and puts horizontal scratches along it. And yeah, it's basically eaten up all the way to the very apex, which is sort of burring a little bit on the edge there. Yeah, it's not very good. It's technically a V-shaped object, so it is sharp in terms of you could push it through a block of cheese, but yeah, it's just a completely different and, I would say, inferior way of sharpening.
So when considering your average toilet, it may not be immediately apparent as to where the sharpening surface is going to be. The porcelain on most of it's going to be enameled, so very, very smooth surfaces, which are not going to be very good for the first stage of sharpening. However, if you know where to look, you can find some nice rough ceramics under the cistern lid.
The cistern? But that's where I blast my farts!
You do? Anyway, so what we're doing here now is we're going to get our new sharpening surface, and we are going to start putting some bevels back on this poor downtrodden knife.
So when sharpening on your toilet, you really are using the same philosophies as if you were sharpening on a bench stone. It's just the stone, in this case, is much narrower. So you're trying to hold a consistent angle with your wrist. I'm lifting my elbow as I get to the belly, just generally trying to trail that whole edge at a pretty consistent angle around the toilet lid. You can see the steel is getting cut by the ceramics because it is getting a grey line where the knife is trailing along, so that is leaving steel which has been cut by the toilet.
That is already a far better edge than the two-sided Edge Pro pull-through sharpener. All I can say is I'm definitely sitting in the right place. So now we're going to use some of that smooth porcelain to hone in our edge, and we're going to use the smooth porcelain that can be found under the seat.
The seat? But I put my bottom there.
Well, you're going to want to be putting your pull-through sharpener in there too. So what we're doing is we're going to work our way around the rim here, and what we're going to do is use a little bit of improvised stropping compound. Now, toothpaste actually has lots of little fine, gritty materials in it. It's what makes it clean your teeth. So we're going to apply some of this makeshift compound around the bowl of our latrine. What's next? Stropping with pee-pee? And we are going to work up our edge and make it even sharper than it already is. Which, you know, isn't the world's best edge, but it's definitely better than the pull-through. It's got all of our sharpening needs met in one room. In the old days, they used to sharpen their knives on their big ceramic pots in a very similar way. This is modern homesteading. And the best part is, when your knife's covered in all of its compound, it's really easy to clean it off. Perfect. So that there is actually, I've micro beveled it a bit, it's only half the length, but that is almost a shiny, very even, neat looking bevel all the way along from that two-stage toilet cistern ceramic and then toilet bowl with toothpaste finishing. So I don't know, you can still see a bit of the pull-through sharpener scratches further up the blade. The one's going horizontal there, sort of in the middle of the screen right now, but it's a tidy enough looking scratch pattern from El Toilette. Captain Latrine, Admiral Pooh Bum. So can you get a better edge from a toilet than from a pull-through sharpener? Yes. Yes, you can. Is there a positive spin to put on a pull-through sharpener as well? They will get an edge slightly faster than a toilet, but then the edge won't be as good. So, I mean, probably not. Anyway, that's the video. Hope you've learned something you can pass on to your grandkids. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.
I know what they say, but these low-hanging fruit really are delicious.